Anyways. So, Ralph. Just some brief comments about Ralph. He released this embarrassing new T-shirt. I don't know who told him that sucking on a big fat turd like that makes him look cool, but I can't see nothing like. I don't know. Like, I guess Rush Limbaugh. When I think of like cigar smokers, Rush Limbaugh is the first guy to jump to mind. I know Kennedy smoked Cubans, but like Rush Limbaugh smoked a cigar. Probably some guy in WWE probably smoked cigars. But I'm very Freudian about this. I see that BBC, that big brown cigar, that giant turd sitting between his fucking lips. I'm like, that does not make you look cool. That makes you look like you're sucking shit to get cancer because somebody else did, because Rush Limbaugh did. But he slaps this on a T-shirt and nobody fucking buys it. I really don't know what the point is. Nobody buys this shit. It all looks like fucking garbage. But more interestingly is this. Oh, well, this comment. I can't wait for the Aborsky face down, ass up shirts after Salt Pappy beats him down to 50 IQ, Lamau. And then Ralph says, guaranteed shirt, haha. So I guess he's going to do a shirt where Worski is like showing his anus on the front of his shirt. I really don't understand it. Like, who buys this shit? He must make, I bet you he makes almost no fucking money off this merch shit. Like maybe $80 off a new design or something. It's more just a way to like try and troll people he doesn't like. But more interestingly is this. Ralph says in regards to the ongoing custody drama. He says, Zonda will soon join the ranks of the Vickers family members who have called me daddy. Sunglasses, smiling emoji. Very, very, very creepy. Xander will join the ranks of Vickers family members who have called me daddy. That does not sound cool. That does not sound like I'm going to regain custody of my kid. That sounds sexual. And I'm not okay with it. I don't know how the fuck you thought that was a good idea, but it's very, very cringe. I know I'm not saying he's the big P, but his desperate attempt to try and piss off Vickers is just like the creepiest backfire possible. Ethan continues. These two have used my son as an online weapon for well over a year. They've used his name explicitly to attack me, lie about me, etc. I won't be deleting my joke, cry more. After what these people have said about me and my family, they get zero consideration from me. This is in reply to Faith Vickers saying, Ethan Ralph, I'm asking you publicly, since it takes your attorney so long to respond, to delete this tweet. If you're happy we've reached any agreements, fine, but equating my infant to your sexual fetishes and kinks makes me incredibly uncomfortable. I have notified attorneys as well. And Vicious Vickers replies also saying, apparently lolly enthusiast Amanda Morris has been training convicted sex offender Ethan Ralph. Two disgusting degenerates. Or two fucking disgusting degenerates, because I guess they are indeed fucking. At least every so often in between black hookers, Ralph will clean out the catacombs down there as a public service. That's his community service. Ethan Ralph, I sentence you to 2 weeks community service. You will have sex with May so that she stops annoying the other horses on the ranch. And Ralph finalizes by saying, oh, and if anyone wants to hold up signing the agreement, go ahead and do it. It will just be proving me right about what I've been saying this entire time. Muck out the stables. So the gambit here is pretty fucking obvious. So Ralph signed that agreement where he said, like, I'll pay $800 and yada, 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 supervised visit. That's a huge pain in the ass, and he doesn't want to spend that money. So what's the best way to look like he's trying to make things right and not be a deadbeat dad while still being a deadbeat dad? Just agree to something softly. Don't actually start like signing up and doing it or whatever the fuck. And then immediately backtrack, start making weird, creepy comments about having Xander call him daddy. piss off everybody involved. And then he can say, look, I did everything I could, but they try to keep me from my son. It's just not fair. You know how them California courts is and all. Those fucking liberal judges over there putting up every obstacle they can to stop me from seeing Xander. Very interesting. Very interesting. And that's it. That's it for Ralph. We don't have to talk about Ralph all that much today. I do have a special thing. I've not mentioned this anywhere. This is low key. This is primo content that nobody has heard of before now. But as many of you will know, especially if you checked the site yesterday, yesterday was August 11th, which is the 4th anniversary of Terry A. Davis's untimely death by suicide with a train. Very sad. I put up a video, one of my favorite videos of him trying to understand reality and his reality, and I changed the quote rotation to only be Terry quotes, so every single one had the N-word in it. Also commemorating Terry's death is Crunklord. Crunklord runs our Fediverse instance, as I mentioned yesterday, or at the beginning of the stream, rather, sorry. And yesterday, he's been working on this for many months, but he released it yesterday. Terry has made... Terry. I called Crunklord Terry as if he's been possessed by Terry's soul. Crunklord released a second game for Terry's operating system, Temple OS, called Blaze It Faggot 2, a sequel to the Temple OS game Blaze It Faggot, which he also made. So, I'm going to go ahead and boot up VMware, and we're going to play Blaze It Faggot 2. And I'll show it off just a little bit. You can download this for free. He is a copyright abolitionist, so you can download this and do whatever you want with it. It's open source. So if you also want to write code for Temple OS, you can do so. I have received a warning that I'm filling up my disk space. I need to delete stuff. Give me a second. Trash is full. Oh my god. I'm gonna end up breaking my fucking computer trying to delete files. Okay, that happened. Delete some files. Move into trash. Empty. Okay. I had it working before the stream, then I started recording, and now my computer is freaking out. Okay, continue, and let me switch over my recorder. VMFag. Here we go. Okay, and this is VMware. This is a real instance of Temple OS, and it's asking me if I want to play Blaze It Faggot 2. I'll type Y to get it. This is his little thing. It's licensed under MIT plus NIGGER, which is the license that is just MIT, but it says that the license must include the acronym NIGGER because it will stop soy boys from using the code. And this license, the MIT plus NIGGER, is actually really popular with Chinese open source developers because I think it's really funny to piss off Westerners. So, controls here. This is like a kind of like a bullet hell or traditional arcade game, but it runs at 60 frames per second. This is, of course, all Ring 0 security running basically on the same level as drivers within Temple OS. This is a real game. And it's written in Holy C, 100% Holy C, with the sound and colors as ordained by God. It breaks no rules that Terry has set forth for programming. So let's play a little bit. I'm terrible at old arcade games, so forgive me. I think the power-ups give you like special guns. There's a bomb that you can use too. Oh, this one, that is a power-up. So you have to collect the words, and I'm really hoping that the words I'm collecting are ones generated by the random number generator that Terry uses to communicate with God. Because if you don't know, he would use the random word generators to ordain messages from God. So I think that he's probably using the same driver or whatever for getting these words. The story is that the Jannies have taken the God word, so you have to get the God words back by killing the Jannies, which is what I'm doing right now. Not doing a very... Oh, fuck. Oh, I did get it. Ooh. This is too close to Tuhu for me. All this bullet dodging. So they still have 3 bombs. I didn't use any bombs. I can use a bomb this time to yeah, remember, this is all Holy See. This isn't like written with Unity and then ported over or whatever. Okay, I'm actually doing pretty good here. I remember he was posting screenshots of this explosion effect. Like if you when I do the bomb, actually I'll do the bomb now. You can see that warp and distortion. That's a quadratic sign that he was posting different screenshots of, theory screenshots, to try and get it looking right, getting it looking like a bomb should. Jeez, oh no, it's getting very Tuhu-y. Ah! I'm not getting many hits in because I'm having to stay so far out here. The hitboxes feel very tight. I really like. I'm not good at these games, but I really feel like I never feel like when I get hit, it's unfair. I feel like the hitbox is exactly what it ought to be, or exactly as I see it on the screen. There we go. I got it. I managed to trace it correctly and get a few shots in. Literally just Tuhu, but base. It's true. It's written in Holy See, so it can't be unbase. Is the fact of the situation here. There is. I want to show you a gun that you can get that is really cool. It's like this. Ow! Fuck, I just ate a ton of shit doing that. One of the upgrades is like this really cool laser beam, but I've not seen it. I used the bomb. That was a bit much. I'm gonna get fucked on this. I can feel. I'll play it after. I'll probably die on this, but then after. Oh jeez. But then I'll want to. I really want to show you that effect because it's very cool. It kind of looks like the Commodore 64 logo being shot at you. Ah! Oh, I just ate a bunch of shit right there. I'm gonna die. The animation, yeah, the animation's really smooth. Everything looks great. He did a very good job. He has a very pragmatic system for developing. He really believes that people who develop should develop games because when you develop a game, oh, there it is. There's the rainbow effect. Ah, sorry, I dove in like an idiot to get get the thingy, but there you go. Very cool. You don't have to hit directly. It kind of like sticks. Oh, they're still shooting at me. That's mean. Too bad Crunklord is. He's not schizo. He's just silly. He's just a silly guy. Okay. Maybe also a tranny, but I don't think so. I think he's too mean on trannies to be like a secret tranny. But that's it. There you go. Very fun. Very cool. And like my thought with the as I was explaining, he suggests to work on a game because when you work on a game, you learn a lot about the limitations of a computer. And when you write a traditional application, like a web application, you don't really see the constraints of your hardware, of how a CPU runs, how your GPU runs. And you'll write inefficient code because when you load a web page one time, it's like, whatever, loads almost instantly. But then when you put a web page on actual load, it consumes a lot of resources. So you don't really appreciate how important efficient code is until it's already put to the test and you're already being fucked over. But when you run a game, a lot's going on. If your frames start dipping, it's very noticeable. So his idea is that everybody interested in programming should make a little game, and they should make a game that is enjoyable to them in a format for whatever system, for whatever language that they are interested in, even if it means having to write parts of the engine yourself, because that will teach you so much about your computer and your the limitations of your code and how resource intensive what you write is, and that makes you better no matter how you apply yourself in programming. So that's Blaze It Faggot 2. That can be found at, if you are interested in downloading it, at scumgames.neocities.org. I will put this on the screen. Actually, I can't. How do I find a URL for this? I can't like put it on the screen. I'll put it on the end when I play the outro song. I'll put it on the end is what I'll do. There you go. It's very easy to set up, by the way. You just download VMware and you run the ISO and you press yes, and it works perfectly without any setup. And there you go. R.I.P. Terry Davis. Thank you, Crunk, for your hard work with the Fediverse and your games and such. It's very interesting. And I do believe I have reached the end of my notes. I think that's it. Not bad for 2 streams in 1 week. And I think I will see you guys next Friday. I don't think I have anything planned before next Friday. Oh, my God, the super chats. I almost completely forgot about the super chats. Probably didn't get as many today because we're not on YouTube, which is okay. I'm gonna have to be careful on YouTube because I'll be able to stream next week on YouTube. But if I get a second strike, that will be bad. And if I get a second strike, I will stop streaming on YouTube until both are gone, basically. And I probably won't keep any archives on YouTube. You'll have to check the site directly. And hopefully I'll have a fucking 10 gigabit line by then so you can actually stream directly from the site. But yeah. Okay, let's check out the super chats. I'm going to put us in the green mode so everyone knows this is the part to skip forward if you're not interested in. And the song I have picked out is pretty good, actually. So if you're interested in the song, stick around. All right. Got my time set up correctly this time, so I'm not reading from super chats from last year. Anonymous, for one, says, please enable the crypto to super chat donations. We won't be able to super chat if you get deplatformed otherwise. I don't have a unified system for that, but there is talk about enabling some way to donate with Monero, which if you already have Monero, yeah, I suppose I can do that. I'll look into that. Crypto donation super chats. Toilet Duck for 2 says, the verb to duck existed before the name of the animal. Originally called an aned, the waterfowl was later referred to as duck or a ducker because of how it would duck underwater for food. That's very interesting. I did not know that. Toilet Duck for 2 also says, so when you see an aned and her babies happily floating in a pond, you can relax knowing she's not a real mother ducker. That is such a long setup for a really bad pun. But at least I learned something in the process. Iman Igor for 20 says, there's a funny line that alphabet people like to repeat about how they'd possibly choose to be oppressed, or why they would choose to be oppressed, but an oppression complex lets you believe none of your problems are your fault, doesn't it? Yeah, it also lets you make $65,000 by putting out a sad video going, oh no, I was misgendered, I was so scared, ooh, please give me money to buy a house with, and then they actually do it. Meanwhile, I have to hustle and bustle, read super chats, fucking sell merchandise that people actually want to buy. Keffels can just say, please donate to my safety fund. Anonymous for 5 says, I no longer wish to be mad at the internet, I just want to be happy. Well, you probably aren't going to find happiness on the internet. Sneedum Feedum for 10 says, I'm a boofer, I'm going to boof. Which, if you don't know, boofing was a term that was introduced to the general public during the Supreme Court inauguration of that last guy, because there was talk of him boofing. In his yearbook, he was called a boofer. And that means that he farted a lot, apparently. The Abominable Homeman for 5 says, remember, folks, every donation makes Ethan, Ralph, Keffels, Russell, Weir, PPP, Andy Warski, Melinda Scott, Vordrak, Kingle, and everyone else who hates Null Seethe. I mean, if that's the way that you have to frame it, then yes, it does. Keffels, every single time I receive $1, Keffels has to donate for another second that day. Konstantin Romanov for 15 says, the very name of London is cursed by being the cradle of industrialization. This is why London, Ontario gave rise to Keffels. I did not know that. I thought industrialization started in Germany, along with the printing press and a bunch of other shit. That makes sense. I mean, industrial industrialization is the root of all evil when you get down to it. Anime wouldn't exist without industrialization. Speaking of anime for 5 says, I model my rhetorical sayings after Kant. I know how the overlord loves his pop philosophy. I don't know anything about Kant or Kanta. I apologize. Kant. Okay, if I search Kant, the result I get is N'Golo Kant, who is a French footballer. I love how the guy, the name, is French. He's a French footballer, but his name is N'Golo Kant, which is like the most African fucking like mud hut name possible. Medicare Masochist for $20 says, watch out for the B-Jams. Thank you, Medicare Masochist. Asset for 5 says, will you ever bring back the regular take that off the goddamn internet posts? So, about that, the amount of complaints that I get to my email are very low now. I do not get that many emails, and most emails that I get are very polite, and that is because if you go to the contact us page, you'll get this big spiel about how it's not a good idea to email me to be an asshole because I will fuck your shit up, and people see that before they email me. And then if you go to help, there's 2 sections. One, how is this site legal? And then removing content. And these both basically outline that I never remove content and you're wasting your fucking time. So don't even bother. So I've noticed ever since I put those up, the amount of emails that I've got angrily demanding that I take shit down and that they're going to sue me has basically disappeared. So if you're wondering why there's very rarely any content and take that off the goddamn internet, it's because it's my fault. You can blame me. Artyom Z for 165 says, Shalom from the Crimea, from the most sanctioned region to the most sanctioned operator, having been listened for years, Rock Wonders. Thank you. If you are not the person that I know who put me in contact with an attorney, or I forget what they call them. It's not a solicitor. There's another word for it, for a lawyer in Russia. But I know somebody from Crimea. It's apparently a very nice region. It's very it's like the closest thing that Russia has to a Mediterranean or like the Canary Islands to travel to for warm summers. Striga for 5 says, Josh, do you think the coding in Java will be viable in 3 to 5 years down the road? I need to learn a marketable skill. General public would be safer with me behind the desk than me driving a truck. Java will be viable for years to come because it is the language that apps are written in for the Android operating system. As much as I do not like Java, and as Java has a bad reputation, Google has essentially solidified it as a language which will be useful for at least another decade. There's always the option, like Facebook basically took PHP and made HHVM out of it, like their own language to replace the PHP on their systems. So there is a chance that Google will eventually take Java or replace Java with some other operating system. And yeah, there's a ton of stuff written in Java that's fucking old. So if you want a job that pays you $150,000 a year to occasionally change a system that a Fortune 500 company has relied on for 20 years and which they don't intend to replace because why fix what's not broken? If you want that kind of job, learn Java or Cobalt, because there is shit still written in Cobalt which is used, and it pays very highly to have you sit there and occasionally update it once a year and pretend to be doing work. So there's that kind of a job. But I mean, like, I get asked a lot, like, what language to learn. Literally pick anything. Go, PHP. Well, I wouldn't suggest PHP because it's a very easy language, but people desperately want to replace it. You can get work with PHP, but it's just like you're teaching yourself things wrong. Learn Rust, learn Go, learn Java, learn JavaScript. If you want a job, learn JavaScript. You don't even need to be good if you learn JavaScript. If you learn JavaScript and pass a boot camp and have a certificate, they will fucking hire you. You won't make that much money because there's so many Indians and Russians and retards that know JavaScript. Like, everyone knows JavaScript. But if you're if you have a Pulse and you have a certificate saying that you've learned JavaScript, or you have a GitHub written in JavaScript, you can get a job, no problem, in JavaScript. Yeah, PHP is on the decline, hardcore. The biggest things written is in PHP is WordPress, but that market of like pumping out WordPress extensions is like cornered by Indians that work for pennies. PHP is not the thing to get into, unless you're like specifically working directly with small businesses. Just honestly, if you are in the position where I currently work by lifting up bricks of iron and my spine is going out and I'm going to not be able to work in a year. I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. I want a job where I sit in a comfy chair and my spine isn't as important to my job. JavaScript. Go to Google, type in how to program in JavaScript. You will find something. You can pay someone $50 for a boot camp and you will get a job, I promise you. Neighborhood babushka, written in a Polish way with the CZ as opposed to a sh, because they're hushes as they're called in Slavic languages are very strange. Kerfuffle has dead eyes like a seagull or something. It's true. He does have that kind of like dead bird of prey look to him, where he doesn't feel proper emotions. Electric Ham Sandwich for 20 says, I admire your dedication to keeping your funny cyberbullying website up and running well. Thank you for providing a platform for me to make fun of troons on the internet. Well, you're very welcome, even though you spelled internet with a lowercase I. Maybe you'll learn one day. That'll be my greatest accomplishment. Winston Fujimori for 10 says, I'm the guy who asked about getting ghosts on the Fediverse. He's really busy, though, and isn't able to do it now, so he appointed me and a circle member to do it for him. I'm just going to go to post first. Sure, go for it. If you want to get him like a domain set up and stuff, get in touch. I'll figure something out for you if you want. Isaac Hitchcock for 2 says, heard a couple streams back that you were a big fan of King of the Hill and want to tell you also to watch Office Space and Beavis and Butthead if you haven't yet. Have a great day, Jers. Thanks. I maybe will. I've heard of Beavis and Butthead. I've heard of Office Space. I've never watched either. I'm on season 8 of King of the Hill now. Hacksley for 2 says, imagine being a cop to shoot dogs and end up talking to a fat troon explaining what dead naming is to you. Being a cop sounds like the worst proposition on earth right now. Speaking of, by the way, I didn't get a chance to talk about this at all. I didn't leave a note to mention this, but I might as well now that you bring it up. Speaking of, are you guys looking for work? I heard some of you guys are looking for work. That's no problem. The IRS has an opening. We're hiring special agents now. If you haven't heard, they passed a bill to onboard 85,000 IRS agents over the next 9 years, and they're looking specifically for a special agent who is a U.S. citizen over 21, qualifies based on education or specialized experience, has a driver's license, can pass a background check, and can carry a firearm. Your duties are, oh, they changed it. They changed it. They changed the description. One of the key requirements was willing to carry out lethal or deadly force. It specifically mentioned that you had to be okay with using deadly force. No, they took that out completely. But that made its round on like conservatard Twitter, where they're like making fun of this because they passed this bill saying that they want to hire like 100,000 people to collect taxes, and then immediately the ads go up saying we're looking for people who are willing to shoot their fellow Americans for not paying taxes, and then they caught flack for that and changed the wording a little bit. Great fun times had by all. Let us continue with the super berries. Konstantin Romanov for 15 says, I need $20,000. Well, guys, you've almost donated the full $15,000. I only need 5,000 more to get to the 80,000 goal. I'm so touched. It's true. That's classic Italian merchanting right there. That's very impressive. Anonymous for 10 says, it's also tiring. I really wish troons would stop forcing themselves in every place I enjoy. Oh, trust me, buddy. I've been there for a while. Roxanne Wolf for 20 says, weekly Sneed tithe paid. Also, because some neghole pausers need a reminder. And then there's a link to a Kiwi Farms attachment. Let's see what this is. Oh, it's a cow tipping thing. That's interesting. I've never seen that before. I'm glad that you've carefully. There's a thing on the forum where, for whatever reason, the forum has like autonomously developed this word of like touching shit. They don't touch the shit. Don't poke the shit. Don't rub the shit between your hands, bro. Don't shovel the shit into your mouth. And this is like their way of saying don't fuck with retards off the site. Like there should be like I don't know what's wrong with saying don't fuck with people off the site. I don't know what's wrong with saying that. But for some reason they developed the term no shit touching, no poo touching, and it's just like vile and juvenile, and I really hate it. The locale farm equivalent is cow tipping, which I like, even though it's like a extended cow metaphor, which I'm not partial to. I like that better than like shit eating. No shit eating, guys. It's one of the rules. But the word filter for poo touching is, or for like don't touch the pooch. Word filters to don't pause load my neg hole. So neg hole pausing is also a very is as appropriate as poo touching is, as far as I'm concerned. Member for 1341 says, why are the Super Saiyan clowns talking about politics and grooming children? This is the worst anime. I mean, that's grooming children into being trannies is pretty much par for the course as far as anime is concerned. Anonymous for 541 says, I don't want to be a fagoot anymore. How can I make it so I can carry on the proud blood of the white race? You have to unmolest yourself. If you find out a way to do this, you should patent it, because a lot of people would pay a lot of money for this. Anonymous for 1031 says, hey Josh, if you could please add different resolutions and reduce the bit rate for Odyssey. Streams seem to work better that way from what I've seen of other streams that don't buffer all the time. I don't know how to reduce the resolution, or because that requires processing. If there's a way to like I don't think there is. I think that Ethan Ralph has like a special setup with Odyssey where he gets priority like processing for his streams, but I would have to find out a way to stream in 720p just for Odyssey. I could do that potentially, but I'd have to figure that out. Sorry. But I'll keep that in mind if I stream again, that Odyssey has to be 720p. Though on the fucking PeerTube, everyone seems to be having no problem with that. Let me refresh. Am I eating my own words here? No, it seems to be working just fine there. Which is a shame, because that's like torrenting base, I think. Supplemented by post servers, anyways. The Stress for 10 says, fellow 29-year-old here, just want to ask, is it too late to learn how to code? Most I've coded was the slot machine in C. That shump on Temple OS looks awesome. It's hard to say. I learned how to code when I was quite young. But you have to think about it. Like when the computers were made, the guys who made that were all, PhD, electronic engineers who worked at MIT and stuff. They weren't young whippersnappers growing up as digital natives. They figured that shit out as adults. They made that shit as adults. So I see no reason to say that someone who's 30 can't learn how to code. Literally just go to Google and type in how to program in JavaScript. Or whatever. It's like with anything, it's 10,000 hours to be a master at something. It's a lot of work to be really good at something. But as far as like being good enough to be a cog in the machine at some company to pass the sniff test, like getting employed is mostly your ability to sell yourself, as far as I'm concerned. And depending on what country you're in, it's probably easier in some than others. So don't be discouraged if you want to become a programmer. If you say I want to live in Wyoming and work for a company in New York City and raise the cost of living for everyone around me, and I think programming is the best way to do that, then don't be afraid. Why do you need my permission? I give you here. If you want to learn how to program, I hereby, by the authority appointed to me in the state of Florida, I guess, in the country of Serbia, and the power appointed to me by the Communist Party of China, I hereby grant you the permission to learn how to program, how to code. It is so ordered that you may invest your time into this endeavor if you find it at all interesting to you. Okay, that out of the way, the official business concluded, the meeting minutes taken care of. Outro song for today is All Hail by The Devil Makes Three, and I will see you guys on Friday. Bye-bye.